it.
Hang on, I'm gonna take care of this cat. Sorry.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the final episode of our Curse of Strahd campaign. This is our retrospective, where we're going to kind of be talking about, like, basically the walls are down for me as a DM. The players can ask me anything. We can reminisce about moments, and we have like 40-ish minutes to do it, so it's going to be a good time.
Do you want to start with your...
Yeah, I want to start with the hardest decision I had to make as a DM.
Yeah.
Which James knows because he woke up to a random text. Because the plan was, I asked James, the question was simple. Hey, is Accipiter coming back? And then James came afterwards, he was like, yeah, you know what? I think Accipiter is going to come back. And then at 2 a.m, after tossing and turning, because I couldn't sleep, because I was thinking about the abbot and how no matter what, he just wanted to get out of Barovia. That's why he was using the bride to appease Strahd, to hopefully maybe he would be like, you can just go, right? And I was like, why would the abbot wait? Like, as soon as the mist was there, why would he wait? There's no reason that the character and how I portrayed him, even though, like, because he's not exactly a true lawful good angel anymore, right? Like, he's more like lawful evil because of what he's doing, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, he would choose to go. Like, there was no way he would stay. And I was like, let's think about it for a bit. And it just wasn't right with me. And I knew it was going to be a bit, like, you know, it sucks, right? Because there was this quest line that happened. But it didn't feel right for me as the storytelling part of my DM for the abbot to stay. He just had to go for me. So I texted James, and when he woke up to, he was being like, yo, the abbot's probably gonna leave, so did you want to still stay knowing this? And then James and I talked further. I do also feel in practice it does give a better ending to the story with Accipiter not coming back.
I was gonna say, and I think it gave all of our stories a different thought, because if he had come back, I feel like it would have just been like, hey, adventure as normal, let's go. Yeah. We need to cure other evils in the world.
Yeah.
But
no, if he had come back, Tiny was going to stay anyway and work at the Abbey.
Yeah, no, and like, I just figured like you guys would all also understand that, like, that made sense and, like, had to happen. But it was just... Yeah. One of the hardest decisions for me, because the whole time I was like, but they did the quest line, like, do they get, they should get the reward. But then I'm like, no, Justin, they beat Strahd, they got the biggest reward, like, and this storyline is better because of it.
We half-assed that quest so hard, like,
well,
it
Tiny
was
did all the heavy lifting for that one. Yeah.
It was the tiniest thing for Genlin and I. Tiny just took the brunt of it.
Yeah, I did feel worst for Tiny with that because I knew he really wanted to. But I also knew that there would still be the impact of you guys hearing Accipiter wanted to stay. And then I knew it would be crushing to be like, dude, we can't bring him back. Like, he's gone.
Yeah.
You got a book named after you, James.
Yeah.
I mean, Justin said the paladins tend to like martyrdom, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Works 9 times out of 10.
They die, but they win.
I think the only thing, like, as a character and as a player, I'm very sad to not be able to say goodbye to you guys. But as a participant in the story, it does make a much stronger story. Like, there's no way if Justin just fucking up and, like, dies in some struggle we're having, he's not going to have a chance to be like, what's up, James? I always hated you.
Yeah, and that's a big thing too, right? Like, I understand from the player there's the desire to get that closure with the other party members, but at the same time,
it just doesn't work that way.
When you die, that's it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, it's a much better story for it, because, like, my whole conflict with the discussion, the decision as whether or not to stay or to go, was primarily, I wasn't actually thinking of it from a character at first. I was thinking of it like, from a story, there's more impact if Accipiter stays dead and chooses to go. Mm-hmm. But as a character, it just didn't make sense that he would have an opportunity to come back and still be a paladin, that he wouldn't take that opportunity. So Justin actually kind of did me a bit of a favor by taking away the option.
Yeah. I think as well, even if Accipiter decided to leave, I still would have had the abbot leave because...
yeah, it just makes sense.
That's what made sense.
Yeah. And then also it'd be worse, like, still the players now, your characters never know if Accipiter wanted to come back or not, right? But...
Yeah, this one was the more pleasing ending, I think. To, like, still know, but not see that change, yeah.
And I do think Mike's right, though. If you guys did bring back Accipiter, you guys would have been like, next time, don't die, but right? Like, it would have been something like that. Yeah.
Well, it's only fair that Strahd kills Accipiter and Accipiter stays dead at least once.
Yeah, exactly.
I totally was planning to, if when we brought him back, I was going to disguise self as Strahd and say, I'm not finished with you yet.
You would have had a heart attack and died again.
Oh, man. No, I think it's very fitting as a character piece. The last moment I basically shared with all you guys was in prayer.
Yep.
That's good.
I think so as well. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit, yeah.
And then there was also like the thing is like...
And no one said amen.
Yeah, it's like no one is gonna freaking do this. I haven't gotten through to them. But then also because you're able to kind of view what happens in Barovia, Accipiter actually can see what happens, right? Him and Esmeralda.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. I imagine to a certain
Spirit
point...
angel.
I do imagine to a certain point, as Esmeralda and Accipiter would eventually just be like... would eventually pass, right?
Yeah.
But...
You know why? Because if you don't, you turn into the abbot.
Yeah, and I think Esmeralda
Get
would.
me out of here.
I think Esmeralda also would wait for Accipiter to go. She would like time it with him.
Cute.
Yeah.
I still know
romance to the
nothing
end.
about that relationship. I have still not watched those episodes.
There's
I'm going
nothing
now.
to know.
Yeah, I haven't watched
Everything
any
to
of-
know. They totally banged. Like, they were banging up a storm.
I mean, she told me. She told me.
Yeah, she did.
things.
No, it's a very professional relationship. If not, like, if HR existed in Barovia, I might have called them. Like, there's uncomfortable innuendos being thrown my way. I'm just trying to guide travelers.
Yeah.
Barovia HR.
No, I just viewed it as it was like so. The story of Esmeralda is that she wronged she was Rictavio's. Rictavio was her mentor, and she wronged him in a way that I don't remember, but basically like betrayed him, and has been seeking his like forgiveness and like all that through all this. So when they find each other, like they're searching too. She's searching to like right that wrong. And so then with Accipiter, it was kind of the same thing, right? Where she's like, this is just another good person. Let's like, and like, just there's that kind of like respect and admiration and that little bit of it's fun to annoy a paladin.
Yeah, she was teased a lot, and that's fun as a character and makes sense for what's essentially just like a not a bounty hunter or a vampire hunter, you know? It makes sense for someone who's not like steeped in religion.
But luckily her and Rictavio did get to say goodbye in the afterlife.
Yeah.
What about you guys? Do you have any questions, comments? I saw Megan had a
I
notepad.
have 2 whole pages of questions.
Oh, wow.
Whoa. What an essay.
They're put for them in double space, so it's not that bad. The one that came from today was I wanted to know if there was a way out of that battle without going through the crits. Like, did we have to walk into the little circles?
Yeah, unless you had someone who could dispel magic, they were there.
It's got to be the
awkward.
right passage.
That's awkward.
Did I take Dispel Magic? I had a chance to take Dispel
I
Magic.
definitely took Dispel Magic, but I was like, nah, I'm probably never going to use it, but it's useful.
To be fair though, that healing spell was really useful.
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, super useful.
I did not
was
take Dispel
worse.
Magic.
In the book, it was written to be worse. Anytime someone was replaced, a Wraith would take their spot. But I did write that out.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's great. Appreciate that.
Because then there would have been all the wraiths there, and we
There
would
would
all
have
be
been 3 Wraiths in
prisoned.
Xandra.
Huh.
You would have for sure died.
Yeah, I would have been real dead. Real
And then we
dead.
would have got out of our tombs, and then we would have also died, and then it would have been a game over. And the lovely statue of Incipiter would have never been built.
Yep. But no matter what happened, Barovia was saved.
Yeah, we did it.
That's true.
And if you died, you would have seen Incipiter.
Oh,
yeah.
That's true. We all could have guided travelers.
Yep.
Well, not travelers, but tortured people attempting to do it.
Genlin have gone there?
Or would he have been claimed by the...
Oh, wait,
I would have
been
claimed by my devil.
Barovia takes precedence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Imagine, like, if you had, like, gone west, been at the threshold, and been like, wow, now I hear, slept, fell down the mountain on the opposite side of Barovia.
Just died.
Just fucking gone.
What's next, Megan?
Okay, I think I've already asked this question because it's from way back when we did the Death House, but I don't remember the answer, so I'm just going to ask it again. Was there a way out of the Death House without somebody actually dying?
Yeah, killing the big moss monster.
Right! That guy.
Yeah. No, that was, I think I've said this before, but the resurrection by Strahd was one thing that when I ran Curse of Strahd, that my DM did to me. And I really liked it. Because it introduces Strahd right away, introduces that he views people as playthings, and then also makes Accipiter, what I sent him, the text of what he witnessed when he died, puts that fear of death in him where he's like, this place is unholy.
Yeah, especially for
What was that?
Accipiter, it's in the thing. You could share it if you want. You could just share it with everybody, I think. Or even I could.
I'm out of Roll20 right now, so...
Yeah, I'm not in Roll20.
Death, I'll share it.
I'm still in Roll20.
Yeah, I gotta like print off a bunch of shit and screenshot a bunch of shit and archive them like my other characters. So,
all right, there should be now one in your journals called Death. I'll put it up on the screen for people who want to watch it who are watching. But
something called Death, right there.
Cypher also got one. Same with Genlin.
Oh yeah, I did get one.
Oh, now I feel a little left out. What about you, Megan?
Yeah, you guys didn't get one. Cypher and Genlin's, though, was their story setup.
Yeah.
Genlin's was pretty weak. Cypher's was pretty good.
Oh, nice. That is dark.
Yeah, it's not good, man.
Very spooky.
What's next, Megan?
Okay, was there a way out of the parlay with Strahd other than death or the blood pact?
No, I think soon as in my mind, as soon as you guys began to speak with him, you were fucked. Either way.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, ultimately, he did lose, but in that exchange, no matter what, it wasn't going to be a positive one, albeit I do think you guys did pretty good. However, once he found Gertruda, his plan was to kill Accipiter when there was a moment, but Cypher and Accipiter found the teleportation room. Which I will also admit, I did all I could. I tweaked the poem slightly to not make the coffin maker's house so obvious. Because I didn't want you guys to go there.
What was it before? Do you remember?
Just something about how where like the house and where the coffins hide. And I was like, nope, too much.
You don't deserve it.
Yeah,
because I thought we would have been like, what's a castle but a big house?
Yeah. No, I thought Marshall was going to pick it up.
Yeah.
But honestly, you guys went to probably the best location to go to, which I really enjoyed. I was very happy you guys went there.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
That was maybe the most melancholy moment for me in this whole campaign.
When you warped
going to the Amber Temple?
Like, just the post-party split, kind of having to, like, not knowing what you guys had done or chosen to do. Having a child in tow with these two characters, one I've just met, the other I'm a touch standoffish about, and I just kind of, like, except for just having to dwell on the fact that, like, is the saving of this one, like, because Genlin was like always the needs of many over the few and shit, right? And I believe Tiny said that at some point as well. And it is just one of those things where it was just like, what could be more melancholy and solitary than like essentially going to the edge of the world and just having to deal with your decisions, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
And being like, there's this synergy in the party, a reliance, and that dynamic just totally changes.
Yeah, man, the splitting up arc was my favorite arc of this manga for sure. It was really,
Me too, actually.
Really good. Like I
really liked it.
Yeah. I loved like everyone's reaction when I decided to just peace out and follow Accipiter, and I didn't like your decision to go talk to Strahd.
Dude, like Cypher, you saved my life there. Like I was like, how am I gonna roll? I mean, I knew I was gonna put when James left because I convinced him to. I was like, I know. Well, I didn't convince him to. I pushed him closer to the edge.
You just affirmed that I could do it, basically, because it was my impulse, and I just didn't know if it was a possibility.
Yeah, I knew I was going to give you Esmeralda, but then when you left too, I was like, okay, now we got a stew going.
Yeah.
So this is where they teleported to, the Solenka Pass. And it was very close to the Amber Temple, which you guys never went to, but this dungeon's a doozy. Like, so this is floor 1 of it.
Oh.
And then there's floor 2. And this is how Strahd became a vampire, and it's possible for the players to also receive a dark gift. But you need to die to get it.
Dark.
Easy.
Easy. We do that all the time.
Regularly, apparently.
Real good at that.
Real good at that.
Oh.
But yeah, I agree, James, though. Just like the description of the area, this cold, biting wind, you guys don't know where you are. It's like, dang.
Yep. And like, it's hard to tell, but this is like 400 foot up, and it's all like on a cliffside all around you. So like, we either had to go through the guard with the demons on the gate, or like plunge into the river from hundreds of feet up. Like, there was no way out.
Yeah, there's like, you look out on the horizon, there's like, it's just the endless expanse of Barovia or an endless mountain range. And again, just I guess really the thing that like as a more as a player, that kind of harkened back to my early days of roleplay with Justin, is I always had a rule: no children. And here I am having to ensure the safety of a child again, and so like it was a lot for me as a player in that moment, especially considering like the 2 players I started the campaign with and had forged friendships with are the ones who split off from me.
Yeah, that would have been rough.
Yeah, I do think this split was very important for the group, though. I feel like there was like bonds made that weren't before. Like in the desperation of the moment, I feel like Tiny, Genlin, and Xandra came very close. Like there was that like moment where your party fractured, but like it caused you guys to confront it, right? In a way that you normally wouldn't. You could just avoid it if there was 2 other party members. Likewise, I think Accipiter really learned that Cypher was trustworthy and like noble with that as well throughout that.
I think the biggest thing I could kind of say about Accipiter's arc, perhaps in this, at least the way it felt as I played it and impacted me as a player, was coming in to Barovia, just like like any adventurer would, just kind of here's a job sort of thing, right? And like so it's a very baseline, and then there is the fear and the agony, and then the optimistic build. And then just through the optimism, I think the point with the family and the farmhouse and stuff, where you had charmed me and whatnot, I think that's where as a player and as a character, Accipiter started to get a little more angry and untrustworthy of the world around him, and by extension the other people he meets. And then it was like baseline, dread, optimism, anger, and then just kind of like the coming out of the anger and just driving all that into the Battle of Strahd, and then just peace at the end, you know?
Yeah, I do feel like I made Strahd a very good enemy, and I really enjoyed like the 4 depressing points of the storyline, which was the farmhouse where the family was killed. When he took the crystal from the winery. When the party split, and then when he burnt down and killed the people in Vallaki. I was like nice big 4 moments where it's like, dang, like Strahd's actually spooky, scary skeletons.
He's actually bad.
Even in just as a personal moment, the last confrontation I had with him, just when we were in that little Fey bubble, and I didn't tell you guys about it because, like, what was there to tell, right? Strahd visited us in the night, sort of thing. Just that, I think, really solidified the as opposed to being afraid of him, the drive that it's do or die sort of thing. Yeah. No, it was good. It was a very, very. I was surprised how sad I was this week, knowing I'd have to say goodbye to these characters in this campaign, considering the Curse of Strahd has been a pre-construct for so long through so many iterations. Like,
it's honestly a fantastic campaign.
It's just crazy how personal it becomes.
Yeah, like right now I'm reading through the randomization of where the treasures can be, right?
Yeah.
Which gives you like different goals. Like one of them was actually like one of them is, the tower you and Cypher warped into. It's sitting in a chest up top for one. It could be there for one of them, right?
Oh.
But you have to go all the way to the Amber Temple and enter through the gates.
There's some in the Amber Temple as well. Like that's the one that like we never explored that whole like storyline for it.
Oof.
We really did make it personal though, especially with the party split and the blood pact and all of that kind of stuff. Like I feel like we as a group managed to take it to a whole different level.
Yeah,
and storyline. So.
The story is definitely uniquely yours, right? Like it's like James was reading a bunch of wild stories, and like yours is awesome, right?
Yeah, even my coworker Davin at work, he had just run Curse of Strahd. They had wrapped theirs up maybe a couple months, maybe a couple weeks before we started ours. And just like the crazy shit that happened in theirs, but they were basically all playing borderline evil characters. And so like just how different everything was and how the reading was, and apparently there's a fucking werewolf den.
Yes.
Never even heard of it.
Yeah,
we did. It's in our notes. It's in the tower.
It's also one of those things for me as well as a DM. I don't like playing with evil characters for a campaign. I'll do it for a one-off, but it's exhausting. Like, I can imagine you guys going, like, evil in this one. What's next, Megan? What else is on the list?
That grin, James, was ominous.
Just thinking about the past.
I want to know what the deal with Izek was.
Oh, okay. So, truth be told, that's a storyline I found out after he died. I'm like, well, now that the dude's dead, let me read his actual story. So, he's plagued by a woman in his dreams who looks exactly like Irina, right?
Okay, yeah.
And it's played when I first thought it was obsession, but then when I read deeper, he is actually Irina's brother.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who's Izek?
The guy we were supposed to kill, the head of the guard.
In Vallaki with the messed up arm.
Yes, the asshole.
Yeah, and like, so when he saw, like, he was connected to Irina in a way he didn't understand, and that's why he was having the dreams about her.
Crazy.
Huh. Yeah, even I was like, oh, wow, look at that.
What else is on that 2-page essay of questions?
Was Lady Voctor a cult leader?
Yes.
Very simple question. I just wanted to know because we never actually found out. I had my suspicions.
A devil cult.
Dang. So if we had like explored her house extensively.
Yeah, so she has a cool story. By cool, I mean terrifying. There's a basement where the cult members meet in like a ritual chamber. In addition, her daughter, she has a daughter that she hates because like she thinks she's crazy and chained up in her room and like feeds her scraps. In addition, her husband is dead and held in a repose spell on their bed, sleeping next to her each night. So
this is awful.
Yeah, it would have been a nightmare house, but I thought there was a lot of cool beats in there.
Oh man, I kind of wish we'd taken that one. That's so funny. I mean, I'm really glad we didn't. We were in deep at that point, but... was there anything nefarious about the Burgomaster, or was he just crazy?
The Vallaki one?
Yeah.
Nah, he was just obsessed and desperate to make sure Vallaki was good. It was his own kind of Barovian madness. However, his son was practicing dark arts in the house in attempting to do some sort of summoning ritual that you guys could have figured out through a storyline as well.
Wow, we never even met his son.
No, I didn't even know he had a son.
That's so crazy. Wow. Okay. Arabelle, the Vistani girl we heard about from the Vistani we found in the, I think it was the Argenvolsholt, I want to say?
Yeah.
Would we have ever found her if we followed that path?
So she can actually be one of the people, your allies of Strahd, or allies against Strahd, like how yours was Rictavio. She was mine in my campaign.
Gotcha.
And you find her, she is north in Lake Baritok, where the Vallaki drunk has her in a sack, attempting to drown her to appease the lake god so he can catch fish again. So you have to save her before he drowns her.
Jesus.
Oh, wow. What
That's
kind of
crazy.
fish are in Lake Baritok? Any good fish there?
Not anymore, because the fish god ain't biting. But yeah, like, so what happens is, like, as you get to the lake, you see a man on a boat in the middle of the lake throwing a small sack into the water. And you just better hope that your characters have the instinct to go and be like, what's up with that? Otherwise, she just drowns.
Just drowns. Wow.
That's awful.
Yeah.
So rough. Brutal. Okay, cool. Where did you decide to put the holy symbol of Ravenkind and the third acorn we never looked for?
Oh.
I lied.
Nice.
I was going to wing it. I was going to wing it, get into a room that I thought was good enough and be like, this is good. And I wasn't going to put the third acorn anywhere.
Cool.
Yeah.
How about the holy symbol in Strahd's castle?
Oh, the second time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have a room for that. I was going to, like, when you guys got through a room, I was going to be like, yeah, this room seems like a good place to put it.
Okay.
Probably one with, like, a good boss, like a good fight in it, or, like, a challenge you have
something
to complete.
rewarding, yeah.
Or, like, maybe I was thinking also, like, at the top of the tower, like, above where the heart is, right?
Oh my god, could you imagine if he just, like, left it on the fucking, the catwalk outside surrounding the castle?
Dude, honestly, he could have put it back on the fireplace mantle where you guys found it, and you guys wouldn't have lived there.
Honestly,
Yeah,
that's
true.
where I thought it might be. Like,
Same here.
Oh, man.
my last question actually was, is there a werewolf den at Lake Baritok if we had gone to follow that random piece of information we got at one point, what would we have found out there?
I never read that chapter.
Because we never even came close.
But I'll show you where it is on the map, yeah. So, it is just above Lake Baritok. It is the fabled...
Is it that hole right there?
Yeah, it is that hole right there.
Z.
The hole.
What's wrong with you Americans? Z.
But yeah, that's I've never read that chapter. I've opened it and looked at it and been like, you know what? If they follow this, I'll worry about that.
I'll read it. Yeah.
It looks like it's just a short little dungeon encounter. With a
What
bunch
was
of
the piece of
characters.
information we got about that again? Like, what happened there that we found out about werewolves?
Somebody just asked about, I think, the tower, or we found out about the tower for some
Right.
reason, but we were warned that there was a werewolf den there.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
I don't remember exactly why.
Yeah, that tower is where Rudolf von Richten was staying outside, and he has a bunch of stuff in there.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. And I think like you guys hit everything else.
Yeah, those were like pretty much all my questions. Did you ever?
The only thing we missed was Berez, the Amber Temple, and the Werewolf Den, and inside the tower for what's his nuts. So 4 chapter of a 15 chapter book.
Yeah.
I know you guys were hung up in it when it happened, but do you remember when you were leaving the village of Barovia and you saw Xandra's body hanging from the gallows?
Yep.
That was just a random encounter with a random character. There was nothing to it.
Really?
Brutal.
Just because Barovia is evil.
Yeah.
Just because it's spoopy.
Whatever happened to Mad Mary and Gertruda?
They died.
Oh.
No, when things started changing, like the thing is, Barovia becomes such a better place without Strahd. So like a big thing that happens is all the wolves and the bats and everything, they're no longer linked to his sentience, so they're just now animals again. So it's not like they're attacking people on the road anymore. So travel happens, trade can happen. I am not going the ending where he comes back. He does stay dead. The Vistani leave out of fear.
The Vistani, they're not like allied with Strahd.
They were allied with him in the sense that they would do work for him.
But they're just other evil people.
Yeah, they're not necessarily like straight up, because like Esmeralda, she's a Vistani, right?
Ah.
Yeah.
Didn't know.
Esmeralda actually, you know how you guys got your tarot reading? Esmeralda also can do one if the players have not gotten a tarot reading yet.
Cool.
If for some reason they're in like Strahd's castle and haven't gotten their tarot reading.
They're just like, hey, what about this castle
entirely?
Yeah. Shit.
That's so funny.
Oh.
I would have been happy even if Xandra had had completed the blood or hadn't completed the blood pact, I guess. Had ended up being taken by Strahd. I was pretty happy with that option as an ending.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was going to come back as a vampire spawn and attack you guys.
Rough shit.
Well, actually, she was going to kill a Scipitor. That was her target. By Strahd.
Yeah, that would have made sense. Why did Strahd hate me so much? Just because I got this fucking holy symbol of a red-haired lady?
Paladin, and paladins are fun to break. They are fun to break. I never had more fun as a DM than torturing you at the expense of the party.
Mm-hmm. I even pointed out to you, James, anytime you met Strahd, there was no choice you had other than to break your oath or give in. Like, you have nothing you can do.
Yeah, it was die or break your oath.
Those are the only two choices. Yeah.
Yep. He didn't break me. Came close. Real fucking close.
I think he did, though. I think he actually did win over a Scipitor when the party broke. I think that was like his victory. The problem is he tried to play with his food even more, which is when he talked with you outside of Vallaki.
Yeah.
And I think that's when a Scipitor started to like get back, right? Like when round 2 started, it was like a Scipitor ain't out of this fight yet. But I do think he did win in the fact that he broke the party up. And then a step further got a blood contract with 60% of the party. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God, I can't wait for 60 when we do this again in 10 years.
Yeah. No, Strahd's dead forever. Don't worry about it.
Oh God.
That's so funny.
Is there any other questions on that list?
Nope. That was it.
Nope.
I mean,
some
of them got answered along the way, so I didn't ask.
I can have a weird one. How about that little music
Nathan
box?
has one first. I'm gonna go with Nathan first.
Okay.
Fuck, god damn it. What's the underwater place called?
Berez.
What the fuck's up with that place? Like underwater? How underwater? Like
no, it's not underwater. It's just a drowned city. So like the city has been overrun by a river.
Okay.
And there's a lot of the twig folk, like the twig elemental creatures. A lot of evil scarecrows. And then an evil old witch with a Baba Yaga style walking house.
Oh, cool.
Ooh. Yeah.
Oh god,
that's very cool.
Houses.
It would have been a very challenging encounter.
Cool.
Marshall?
When I first joined, we found that music box that someone still has.
Yeah.
Was that ever anything, or just a random trinket?
Just a random
trinket.
Exhibitor
has it.
Okay. Because we never really looked into that or tried to like activate it and summon the demon or whatever was inside of it.
It was like a Sipiter's lantern, just one of the like 50 or so random trinkets you can get in the game.
Cool.
Spoopy.
What happened to my hat?
It turned into dust.
Oh, it just stayed on the lake until it stopped existing?
Yep.
Oh. Did Irina and Tiny ever have a chance?
No, you would tear her asunder. She knew it. She did find you safe and comforting though.
Oh yeah, there was nothing bad there either. It's just funny to think about.
Is there any way to get through this campaign and not have Irina like either die or look in the well? Like, is there a way to get through it?
Oh, yeah.
I guess, is there a way to get through it with Irina? And B, is it at all good to keep her intact?
Yeah, you can totally keep her intact. Honestly, the storyline in Krezk is entirely optional for the DM to take with her going into the lake.
Is she meant to like find her past self?
No, actually, the past self is also a story I made up for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's supposed to happen with Irina if you go to Krezk?
No, nothing.
Okay.
You just give her if you put her in the abbey, it's like, we made a boo boo. The big thing is the abbot, the priest in Barovia, is misinformed about what's happening in Krezk, so it's supposed to just get a plot line for the players to go there, meet the abbot, and be like, dang, that's fucked up.
And then there's Tiny. He's like, I trust this man.
I mean, yeah, he was an angel. Like he was 100% an angel. Not the Morning Lord himself, just some random angel.
That was like a 2% chance.
Yeah, definitely. And I really enjoyed those scenes with him. That night where it was just us three in Krezk was a good time.
Yeah.
Because I liked how creeped out you guys were. You're like, okay, Barovia's been creepy, but this is like unsettling creepy.
It was just another level to like walk in and have it be like a mad science situation with creepy dog animal folk and a sewn together woman and this guy.
I have a question.
Be good and wasn't. Go ahead, Mike.
Was there actually something in the well?
Yes, Mishka.
What? Who's Mishka?
Mishka is just a mongrel folk that lives in the well.
That's so funny.
Yeah. She would attack you on sight, though. If you looked in the well, she would have attacked you.
Okay. I think my camera just died.
Oh, I'm glad we didn't look in the well then. Like I said, if the abbot had returned, Tiny was just gonna go work there. Yeah. He was gonna stay in Barovia and work there if he'd returned. He was fine with what was happening there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
Why was the angel like doing that sort of stuff?
Okay, so
because he'd been there for centuries.
Yeah, so what happened? So the angel's story is a bit wild. So he came to Barovia in a hope to cleanse Barovia. So he took the role as the abbot at the cathedral in Krezk.
Yeah.
And then he tried to help. So if I remember correctly, there is a family of nobles who wanted intervention with something. And then he sought advice for what to do. And the person he got advice from was Strahd in like a disguise of somebody else. And then that turned the people into these mongrel folk, which slowly started the abbot to slip to insanity, which is what has made him so desperate to get out of there as well and like start to do not good things.
Does it say how long he had been stuck there?
Centuries.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Is there anything we missed that you wished we hadn't, or any situation you wished we had handled differently?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
I wish my camera would come back.
Dude.
There it is.
Mike? I just broke Justin. He's just a spinning circle now.
It's like, actually, yeah, like everything. I wish you'd done everything differently.
I think the only thing I wish was different, I do wish we got to go to Berez. I think that would have been a fun environment to play in. And I wish Argon Vostholt was a little bit different. I had to pull some strings to kind of help you guys there that I wish I didn't have to.
Yeah.
You guys were very underleveled for that one, though. But I didn't want to just, like, outright say, fuck you, right?
Appreciate it.
Other than that, I think everything was really good. I think a big thing is I wish, it's like, the problem with, like, there's going to be someone who says, that's not a problem for me. But no one can, like, I don't think anyone can stay super excited as a DM and super punchy for a 90-minute long combat session. A 2-hour-long combat session with Strahd. I do wish there was a bit more, right? That could have been done. But, like, D&D combat is just so mathematical that, like, I just feel like, especially 2 hours. Like, someone can go, like, 20 minutes and give this nice punchy combat, but then you're going to just become freaking exhausted as a DM. Mm-hmm. So my biggest thing is I wish, like, combat was a bit more flavorful in D&D.
Yeah, I wish there was almost
putting
like
it on the players.
I wish there was almost a chance where it's like you could have a round to take like a cinematic break almost, you know? Where you guys could monologue at each other.
It's also one of those things where, I mean, like, yeah, like as a DM, you could change that. But the thing is, Strahd is a final boss, right? Like,
yeah.
Like that. And it was a 2-hour-long fight, right? I think also a big thing as well is, so that's like with the cult system, they have it so that there's like flavor text in each enemy. So when they take this many wounds, you read this, and this is what happens to the enemy, right? So like it's like built into the system to tell a story through combat, which I think is the only thing D&D. I mean, like, yeah, like I believe that there's going to be DMs who be like, it's not a problem for me, but I honestly give me a 2-hour-long, 100% entertaining combat, and I'll give you $10, right? Because there's only so many ways you can say. It's like you hear from the players too on their turn. They're like, I hit this guy with my sword, right? Because you're tired, right? It's so mind-numbing.
Yeah. And then you start talking about the mathematics of a fireball.
Yeah. What is a 15-foot radius in a space, right? Like, but overall, though, I think honestly, no, I have no regrets about this campaign.
Fireball
apart from
fired.
Those.
Fireball fired.
But no, I think it was a great campaign with a lot of excellent story beats, some great characters in the party, and a ending that I think was really good. And I'm always less scared to kill James than I am other players.
Oh, Justin, you can kill me. It's okay.
Honestly, you're probably number 2 on the list.
I was super ready to die.
Yeah.
I would cry.
Yeah. But like,
I want to see Mike die.
The order goes, I'll kill Eric in a heartbeat. He'll always understand if I kill him, right?
Yeah.
And then James, and then Marshall. And then I'm still, the thing is, like, I don't want to like toot Marshall's horn, but I very quickly connected with him as a player. I don't know, there's just something, I just think there's just something about us that connected. Not to say that I haven't connected with you guys, but like, I feel like I understand that if I killed Marshall, he'd be like,
no, I get it. You like him better. It's okay.
Go.
It's more that like Marshall lives a province away, so if he dies, Justin can ghost him.
Yeah, if he kills my character, I just show up at the door next day.
Marshall.
There were at least 2 times that Tiny, like, I was ready to be like, okay, Tiny's gonna die here, and because he doesn't want his friends to get hurt. Yeah. Like, there was one of the times when Strahd was confronting Exhibitor. I can't remember which one.
Was it the attic of the wine of the coffin maker? I think that one.
Probably, yeah.
Xandra had to get you out of there.
Yeah, I was ready to be like, nah, take me. Fuck it. I'm done. Like, no.
That's not what Strahd wants.
No, but honestly, that was a great character moment. And I think your guys' the reason your characters all made so much sense is because there was that push and like pull within the party. My only advice is you got to get more good players because D&D is designed for them. Like only James and Nathan got to play with the fun, exciting weapons. Could you imagine Xandra with the Sun Sword? She would have been dealing so much damage.
I felt a little dirt taking that off of Excipitor's corpse. I was like, but I kind of need it.
Oh no, Tiny, that was a great ball.
Sword was not Excipitor's. It was just defaulted to him because of alignment.
Yeah.
Well, I needed to find it. You kind of got it from the tree, so.
Well, from my understanding of it, it's like because when I was like reading halfway through the campaign, I'm like, how to better do a paladin. One of the things was like one of the suggestions was get a sun sword, and I was like, oh, and then I like.
James was telling me about it, and I'm like, just you wait, buddy.
Yeah, so.
What the fuck was up with the spear? What was I hearing?
Oh, you were hearing Kevin.
Kevin?
Yeah, Kavan. So the Spear of Kavan, it was an old barbarian war leader.
Huh.
Who existed in Barovia ages ago.
Huh.
It was given to me when I did my campaign as my barbarian. And it's a badass weapon. I loved it.
Yeah.
I had the Goliath staff, which was I didn't use it a lot, but
yeah,
it was good.
I think it would have been better to use if I were a barbarian because spells.
Yes, yeah.
But like it was useful a few times. Like
you were still competent.
The last fight, like I only had 5 hit points at one point, and then I killed someone and I got the 10 temporary, and that allowed me to heal up.
Yeah, if it didn't link with you, it probably should have gone to Xandra.
It's fair. Yeah.
But it goes by order of like barbarian, druid, and then fighter for importance. So you win.
You win.
I do have a final question for you if no one else has any other questions.
Was Strahd's PP small? No.
It was so big.
That's how he sucked.
I don't believe it.
Strahd, hey James, you know the sun sword? Yeah, that.
Wow.
No.
This has been really interesting, new to the stream, but the retro is such a cool idea. Honestly, we didn't do it like a public recorded one for Mummy's Mask, which was our big Pathfinder campaign, and I think it's just important for the players and the DM to be able to talk and just like. Because we're going to be talking. Strahd is now going to be in our inside D&D joke vernacular forever, right?
Yeah. Strahd Daddy.
But at least now we have it recorded and like the final conversations for the campaign.
One of my favorite like role-playing moments I've had in the past little while is going through Mummy's Mask and having Mike's role be a player / stream runner and everything.
Yeah.
And then like when he comes back as Ankep, his epic introduction of like you guys are in this pitched combat, you hear these footsteps running down the hall, and Kep enters the room, and he handed over to Mike, and he's just like, hey.
Yep. Yeah, no, honestly, like, the reason why Strahd works so well is because we figured out our style through Mummy's Mask, right?
Yeah.
And it's honestly to the point where even if we get back in person, I think Roll20 is better than in person. Even though, like Call of Cthulhu, we can easily do in person. But for D&D, I think I'm always going to just do it distance. The maps just make combat smoother. You don't think they would. But having to not answer the question, what does this room look like again, right, for Theater of the Mind, it just makes it cleaner, for D&D anyway.
Yeah.
All for any time I don't have to do math.
Yeah. As we're learning, though, everything, with the health bubbles, now it does math for you. Yeah. All right, James, what's your final question? How do we say goodbye to the Curse of Strahd?
My question is, knowing that we're doing Rime of the Frost Maiden next, and we're carrying over a lot of the players here, what have you learned from this campaign that you are hoping to utilize, or something that's making decisions for running Rime easier and better?
I think I'm going to steal some ideas from Cult, but not in the way of the horror contract, but in a combat contract where we just say we agree at the beginning we want to be combat as quick and smooth as possible, and these are the rules for that. In addition, I probably am going to be more open about the party splitting. It was not nearly as scary as I thought. And honestly, it was much more engaging for me as a DM to be able to do different areas of the game. And now that I understand the math, because I've been making my own adventures and my own monsters and all that shit, now that I understand the math of D&D, I feel like I can do that more. In addition, I think I also just want to look for more story moments, right? The fun part of Curse of Strahd was when the party split, or when Accipiter lit the fire at the Festival of the Burning Sun. And I think that's what's going to be most important, is character first. And fun story beats first, as opposed to anything else.
Yeah, honestly, my player moment from this was getting Lady Voctor to switch when she was going to potentially kill.
Yeah, that was fucking sick.
That was my moment for this whole thing.
I loved it.
It was a good moment to have.
Justin was no, this isn't happening, and then you convinced him.
Yeah, I was dude, that's a great freaking reason for it. And I think also as well, I feel I have a better idea of pacing. That's going to be... I feel a lot less daunted by a full campaign now, especially in D&D. And I feel a lot more confident about nudging you guys in the right direction if you guys are doing weird fucking shit. To the point now when you guys start talking about your weird fucking ways to go about things, I'm like, guys, just do this. I'm just not even going to humor the idea of throwing meat at a door to see if it's fake. Because
yeah, and if we ignore it after that, then it's our fault.
Yeah.
Then there will be punishment.
So then going off what Megan said, I want one last question for you guys as my players. What was your personal favorite moment for your character in the campaign? So we know Megan's was convincing Fiona Voctor. And honestly, that was some of the stuff when Eric would tell me how when we as players would change his mind. And he was always it just feels so cool as a DM to do that. And honestly, that was one of the moments where I was like, holy shit. And honestly, it led to a much better story than I was even going to think it was going to go. With the Burgomeister leaving and then getting killed on the way. It's such a natural tragedy to happen in Barovia, and now there's no blood on her hands, right? It's much better than anything else she could have done.
Well, Marshall, what's your favorite character moment?
I feel like it would have been at the split of the party, surprising you guys, I guess, with no, he's not going to go ahead with this and talk with Strahd. I'm literally just going to walk the other direction without you knowing.
Yeah,
I think that was a good power moment for us, for my character, and kind of aligning with Accipiter.
Yeah, and knowing his backstory as well, it made perfect sense.
Nathan,
I don't know what the specific moment was.
Yeah,
but it was a bunch of moments leading up to Tiny not standing up for himself isn't the exact right way to say it, but he was kind of just going with it, but then at a certain point he was no, I'm done with this. No, what I want to do is what's going to happen now. I can't, you guys are making stupid choices.
Yeah.
I don't know what the specific moment was, but it's a bunch of build up.
I think
when you had the battle with the rats.
I think the big thing was the wedding dress for the Abbot's bride. I think that was the big peak of the Tiny, I'm doing this no matter what. Yeah. And I agreed with that. I thought Tiny was being the reasonable one. I mean, I did know the Abbot was an angel, so there's that. But I did agree with Tiny. Mike, what about you?
I think Genlin. I think my favorite point for Genlin is actually when he thinks he's helping Accipiter by beating him up in front of Strahd.
It's a good one.
In the moment, Genlin, I think, felt really like he was doing good, like helping his friend not make the decision.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, realizing...
stand with me.
I love the complexity that Mike has with his characters, where there's that... Because Mike, you still always... Like, there's still that part of you, and, like, take no offense to this, where, like, you see the game of D&D... No matter what.
I try not
works.
to.
Like, you see the puzzle, right? And it always leaks into your characters in the way that your characters are very analytical. And it's so fun to see you conflict, especially with James. And I think this one has been the best that you guys have gone and, like, conflicted while not, like, having that animosity about it, which was really good for the campaign, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that just comes from you guys knowing your play styles better. Like, the first one, like, it was like you guys were, like, butting heads all the time, but I think now you guys get it, that you're like two opposite sides of how D&D is approached.
Well, I mean, and going forward, my character for the next one is I'm trying to write a lot of backstory and stuff for it. So
all right, James, what about you? What's your favorite moment?
I think I have 3, honestly. The first one is with after, like, in the early game, when Genlin actually, like, called Accipiter out for being, like, a holier than thou asshole.
Yep.
And it was just like, okay, we'll endeavor to be better to each other, but by extension, it also kind of, like, opened up for Accipiter. Barovia is not black and white. Like, you got to do a little bad to do more good sometimes, right? But I think really the pinnacle of it all is literally the fight between the parties. Just don't make me choose. Sure, he had all those opportunities to break his oath with Strahd and everything like that, but ultimately that culminates in, hey, this is literally the first person we were told about in Barovia that needed help. We have to help her.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, with Gertruda there, I think that really is the pinnacle moment for him as a character. Despite enjoying, I think, maybe the game a little more post that, I think that's really the kind of the culmination of being a paladin is making that choice. So
my personal favorite moment was when Strahd confronted the group in his castle because they were burning furniture. And just, I mean, honestly, the cascade from that was one of the biggest cascades of, like, cause and effect to ever happen in one of my campaigns. And I could not believe you guys fucking beat Accipiter unconscious. I was floored. Like, I was like, this is happening. Like, James and I have caused the players to do this. It was crazy. And it just made so much sense, and it was so right.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. The only thing I think I've ever liked better is in Mummy's Mask, when everyone was tortured by their backstory, but the bad guy in each of the backstory was James's character, was James, so he played the bad part of it. I think
I hated that.
Yeah, dude, that was fun. All right.
I hated fucking... Oh, God. Yes, thank you. It is a memorable one. It's going to go in the... whenever I try to convince people to play D&D, I'm going to be like, I have this one campaign.
Do you want to beat me to death? Because we can find a way for you to beat me to death. But that is the Curse of Strahd. That is us saying goodbye to this 108-part campaign. Wow. We've done it.
Seems short.
Technically, actually 107, because the 108th is the retrospective. This doesn't count as it. It's time for us to say goodbye to these characters and thankfully say goodbye to Barovia in a much better place.
Did it.
So thanks for watching, YouTube. You'll probably see our next long-form campaign coming up very soon, probably in the next month or so at the latest. You beautiful people have a good one. We love you. And as always, GG's.